Grand Admiral Thrawn is without a doubt one of the most interesting and well-written characters in Star Wars. The core of his character is of course nothing new, and he is not the only mix between Erwin Rommel and Sherlock Holmes and many other brilliant figures that aren't purely evil. It's the summary of all his aspects that make him unique, however. But despite his well-known and loved character, he is often misunderstood, both in Legends and Canon. Today, we will clear up these misunderstandings. Grand Admiral Thrawn was a Chith from the unknown regions who later served the Galactic Empire. In Legends and Canon, he joined the Empire because of an outside threat to the galaxy. He quickly became one of the most skilled commanders in the Imperial military and was granted the rank of Grand Admiral by the Emperor himself. He was known for being a just officer, and he cared about the man under his command. Thrawn didn't sacrifice his men, nor was he known for being a supporter of war crimes. However, this is where the misunderstandings begin. Many Star Wars fans criticized Dave Filoni for making Thrawn a basic villain in Rebels. He was still cunning, yes, but he was oftentimes portrayed as a morally bankrupt Imperial. It was stated that his portrayal in Rebels conflicted with his portrayal in other sources. Most importantly, his interpretation in Legends. But if you look closer, this wasn't actually the case. Let's look at Legends Thrawn and compare it to Canon Thrawn. Legends Thrawn was willing to sacrifice some of his pilots during a battle near a broad sky in order to get a strategical advantage. He betrayed Mara Jade and altered their agreement without her consent for his own gains. He had no qualms when he robbed the people of UQ of their land for his war effort. And he was willing to continue the poisoning of Honogar to ensure the obedience of the Nogri. Canon Thrawn bombarded civilians on Lothal, is working with dark-side witches and betrays both Sabine and Baylan. He even betrayed Shin, whose goals doesn't clash with Thrawn's, unlike with Baylan. Both portrayals show that he is callous if he deems it necessary. The only reason why he didn't kill civilians in Legends, if you ignore the outbound flight, was because it was strategically beneficial. To be honest, I can't judge him for that because I think in the same way. But there's one thing in which he's different to me. He goes way too far. You see, his time in the Imperial Academy changed him. He was discriminated massively because he was an alien. Most teachers in the academy made his life extra hard, but Thrawn accepted this after some time. I would even bet that he later believed that this discrimination was beneficial. After all, he valued strength, and discrimination can be a path towards strength. Discrimination results in more obstacles to overcome, and overcoming obstacles makes you stronger. I faced discrimination and mobbing myself, like most of you, and I have grown stronger not despite, but because of it. Some of you have a similar experience. The fact that you aren't broken by mobbing and discrimination proves it. I value strength, and I share most of Thrawn's strategical mindset. But despite the positive results I gained at the end, thanks to mobbing and discrimination, I'm still against it. Thrawn isn't. Thrawn may not be known as a xenophobic monster, but that's only because he doesn't discriminate anyone based on their species. He discriminates the weak. He wants everyone to become the best version of themselves, but if someone doesn't allow himself to be perfected, Thrawn kills them. If you have read the Legends Thrawn novel, you know exactly what I mean. Instead of demoting a soldier that wasn't even trying to correct his mistake, he ordered Rook to kill him. This murder was unnecessary, but he did it anyway, because he hates the weak. That's also the reason why he fought against the New Republic. Like with Dooku, many of his criticisms about the Republic were accurate, but this doesn't justify his war against the people of the galaxy. Instead of fighting the New Republic, he could have allied with them against the outside threat. That's actually what Grand Admiral Thrawn did in Legends. Thrawn would have never done that, because he saw the Republic as weak. Not from a military perspective, but from a social perspective. The New Republic allowed weakness to spread, and therefore the Republic was weak. I hate the New Republic and the Old Republic because of that. But I would never destroy the Republic to install an oppressive regime that's even worse. And for one simple reason. I know the universal laws of the universe. Thrawn lacked the ability to understand the laws of the Force, which are intended to be very similar to our metaphysical laws. Strength through obstacles and pain is important. If the world was meant to be a perfect place without potentially deadly threats, these threats wouldn't exist naturally. But we have emotions, especially love, for a reason. Love exists to prevent cruelty. Love is inherently good for life itself. That's why these words are so similar. In the ancient languages, at a time where vowels didn't exist, these words meant the same. To love means to life. If you truly love, you are alive and spread life. Cruelty is the opposite of love. To quote Kreia, cruelty leads to suffering, and when one suffers, it is the way of life to spread suffering. If you are cruel, you are essentially dead, and the only thing you can spread is death. Thrawn is completely devoid of love by the time of the rebellion, and that's his biggest mistake. Once he loved and had the potential to become someone truly great, but his complete focus on logic and his missing understanding of the Force led him towards the imperial path. He once said to Mara Jade, "I understand your feelings, but they have no place here." This quote, this belief, came from the same place as his desire to destroy the New Republic. He considered personal feelings a weakness, which is a huge error. And it's also the root of all his defeats. Thrawn was a strategical genius, but he wasn't the ultimate strategist. His hyper-focus on logic and order led him to a cruel path. Other Imperials may have been worse, but he was cruel enough to unite every non-Imperial against him. His death in canon hasn't happened yet, but in Legends he was killed by Rook for fooling the Nogri. But in the end, he wasn't defeated by rebels, Jedi or traitors. He was defeated by his lack of understanding. He was defeated by the long-term consequences of his actions.